Have you ever acted on impulse and later wished you hadn't? Do you feel that sometimes reacting emotionally makes things worse? Today, we bring you a powerful story about mastering emotions and the life-changing impact of staying calm under pressure. Inspired by Gautama Buddha's teachings, this story will take you on a thought-provoking journey. Stay with us till the end, because this lesson might just change your life forever. Long ago, in the prosperous kingdom of Ardinia, there lived a wise sage named Elias. Known for his calm demeanor and profound wisdom, Elias was admired by many. People would travel great distances to seek his guidance, as he seemed to hold answers to life's most difficult questions. One day, King Edward, the ruler of Ardinia, grew curious about Elias's teachings. The king was known for his fiery temper and believed that no one could truly remain calm in every situation. To test Elias, he sent an invitation to the sage, asking him to visit the royal palace. When Elias arrived, the king welcomed him warmly, but with a hint of mischief in his eyes. "Elias, I've heard much about your wisdom and your ability to stay calm under any circumstance. But I wonder, can anyone truly master their emotions all the time?" Elias bowed respectfully and replied, "Your Majesty, mastering emotions is not about suppressing them, but understanding them. It is possible with practice and awareness." The king smirked. "Then let me test you. Stay in my palace for 7 days. If you can remain calm no matter what happens, I will reward you generously. But if you lose your composure even once, you must leave Ardinia forever." Elias smiled gently. "I accept your challenge, Your Majesty." On the first day, the king ordered his servants to prepare a lavish feast for Elias. Platters of fruits, exotic dishes, and sweet delicacies were laid out before him. However, just as Elias was about to eat, the servants snatched the food away, leaving him with only a bowl of plain water. The king observed from a distance, expecting frustration or anger. But Elias simply smiled, folded his hands, and drank the water peacefully. When the king questioned him, Elias replied, "Your Majesty, hunger is temporary, but reacting with anger would disturb my mind. My peace is more valuable than a meal." The king was intrigued, but determined to try harder. On the second night, the king ordered his guards to disrupt Elias's rest. Loud drums and shouting echoed through the palace halls, startling him awake. Despite the noise, Elias sat up, closed his eyes, and began meditating. The next morning, the king asked, "Didn't the noise disturb you?" Elias replied calmly, "The noise disturbed my body, but not my mind. By focusing inward, I found peace amidst the chaos." The king was impressed, but still skeptical. On the third day, the king instructed his court jester to insult Elias in public. As Elias walked through the marketplace, the jester followed him, shouting rude remarks and mocking his simple attire. The crowd gathered, expecting Elias to lash out. Instead, Elias stopped, turned to the jester and said, "Thank you for reminding me of the areas where my ego still exists. I will work on them." Embarrassed, the jester fell silent, and the crowd admired Elias's humility. When the king heard of this, he began to see that Elias's calmness was genuine. On the fourth day, the king assigned Elias to seemingly pointless tasks. From sweeping the palace courtyard to polishing already clean swords, Elias was kept busy all day. The servants delayed his meals, hoping to frustrate him. At the end of the day, when the king asked if he felt annoyed, Elias replied, "Your Majesty, no work is meaningless if done with the right mindset. These tasks gave me an opportunity to practice patience." The king was surprised, but remained determined to break Elias's calm. On the fifth day, the king staged a public accusation. He summoned a young woman named Clara, who claimed her family had lost their land due to unfair taxes. The king falsely accused Elias of being the tax collector responsible for her suffering. The crowd grew angry, hurling insults at Elias. Clara pleaded for answers, her voice trembling with emotion. Elias looked at her with compassion and said, "Anger will not heal your pain, nor will blaming others. Let us seek the truth and find solutions together." The crowd fell silent, and Clara, moved by his kindness, apologized for the accusation. Even the king was amazed by Elias's ability to remain calm under such intense pressure. On the sixth day, the king took the test to an extreme. He ordered Elias to be arrested on false charges of theft. Shackled and humiliated, Elias was brought before the royal court. "Do you not feel anger or injustice?" the king asked, smirking. Elias replied, "Your Majesty, anger is like a fire. It burns the one who holds it. I know the truth, and no false accusation can harm my peace." The court was stunned by his calm and dignified response. On the final day, the king invited Elias to a royal banquet. However, Elias was seated at the farthest corner of the hall, among the servants. While others feasted on lavish meals, Elias was served stale bread and water. The guests laughed, expecting him to finally lose his composure. Instead, Elias ate the bread, smiled, and said, "Food nourishes the body, not the ego. I am grateful for what I have." The king could no longer contain his admiration. He stood and addressed the court. "Elias, you have shown me that true strength lies not in power or wealth, but in mastering one's emotions. Your calmness is a reflection of your wisdom, and I have learned more from you in 7 days than I have in my entire life." The king bowed before Elias, acknowledging his greatness. The court erupted in applause, and the people of Armenia were inspired by Elias's example. Before leaving the palace, Elias shared a teaching from Gautama Buddha. "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts, but once mastered, no one can help you as much, not even your father or mother." His story reminds us that life is full of challenges, but how we respond defines who we are. Don't let external situations control your peace. Pause before reacting and choose calmness over chaos. Mastering your emotions is the true path to strength and success.